You don't get perfect answers until you ask perfect questions. Hare Krishna, I welcome you all to the book summary video of Perfect Questions and Perfect Answers. So this book is a conversation between His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada and Bob Cohen. Bob Cohen was a Peace Corps worker in India. In the introduction part of this book, more details about Bob Cohen is given. So he had been to Hebrew school and had studied Oriental philosophy. After his education in Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, he joined the Peace Corps in 1971 and he came to India as a science teacher. He first heard the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra in New York and he started realizing that this process of Krishna consciousness is not dull or sentimental. This process is real and sensible way of life. One important point I would like to highlight here is that when Bob Cohen met Srila Prabhupada, he decided to be a vegetarian. And he was proud of this thing. So Srila Prabhupada told him that even pigeons are vegetarian, okay? You don't need to be so proud. And here we can see that Srila Prabhupada always emphasized the importance of humility in devotional life. You know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said in Sikshastakam that Tranadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahashnuna Amanina Mandena Kirtaniya Sadahari. One can chant the holy name of Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking himself lower than the straw in the street. So we shouldn't be proud of anything we have or any seva we are doing. We should always stay humble. He then went to Mayapur and there he asked some questions from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada answered all of them very perfectly, and we are moving towards our chapters of this book. So there are total 9 chapters and we will be discussing 3 chapters per week. So this is the first part of the video where we will be discussing about first 3 chapters of this book, and the next 3 chapters will be discussed in the next part of this video, and the next 3 in the third part. So let's begin. So the first chapter is Krishna is all attractive. Why Krishna is all attractive? Or why we get attracted towards anyone? For example, if someone is so powerful, we may think like that, oh, he's so powerful, you know, he's so powerful. Or if someone is wealthy, so we can think like that, he's so wealthy, he's so rich, I would become like that, I would become like him. Or if someone is beautiful, then we, you know, you are so beautiful. So these are the things we get attracted towards. So Krishna is all attractive because he has everything in its complete form. Krishna is most powerful, Krishna is famous, Krishna is wealthy, Krishna is knowledgeable, Krishna is, you know, most beautiful, and Krishna is the most renounced person. So Krishna is all attractive. Every living entity is attracted towards Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, even the evil people, most evil person, if prays to me, he will be elevated. So evil peoples are also attracted towards him. Therefore, Krishna is all attractive. Now the third point is that Krishna is the greatest scientist. Why? Because he is the source of everything. He is the origin of everything. He is the cause of all causes. He knows everything. Krishna is the greatest scientist. You know what? Our science may teach us like that. If we combine oxygen and hydrogen, it will become water. Okay, if we combine oxygen and hydrogen, it will become water. But what about the Pacific or Atlantic or these vast or huge oceans? What about them? How much oxygen or hydrogen is required to form that much amount of water? You know, who had supplied it? So the science fails to give this answer, but our scriptures never fails. Our scriptures has all the answers. So the answer is Krishna. Krishna has supplied all these things. Krishna is the source, is the ultimate source of everything. The fourth point is about energies, separated energies. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that the earth, fire, air, water, ether, mind, intelligence and ego are his energies. You know, these are his separated energies. Krishna is the energetic and these are his energies. Energies at the same time cannot be the energetic. For example, let me give you an example of milk. Milk is a byproduct. Milk is coming from a cow. But at the same time, the milk is not the cow. If cow is not there, there is no milk. So similarly, Krishna is the source of these energies. Okay, so this is the philosophy of one and different. Now comes the fifth point. One may ask a question, if Krishna is omnipresent, if everything is Krishna's energy, then why we worship Krishna? Let me worship water or let me worship air. Why we are worshipping Krishna? So this question is being answered here. The deity form of Krishna is Krishna itself. For example, let me give you an example. An electrician, he knows how to produce electricity out of wire. Similarly, the deity form of Krishna is installed by the Vedic mantras. So the deity is Krishna itself. We should worship the deity. Okay. Now the sixth point is that after creating all these energies, Krishna is still there. Some Mayavadis may believe that after creating so many energies, so many worlds, Krishna is not there now. No. For example, a man is begetting hundreds of children, but still the man remains the same. Similarly, Krishna has created so many separated energies, but Krishna is still the same. Krishna is Krishna. Now comes the second chapter, which is Vedic culture or Varnashram Dharma. So, Varnashrama is consisting of two words, Varna and Ashram. Varna means social orders and Ashram means spiritual orders. So, there are 4 social orders and 4 spiritual orders. What are they? 4 social orders are Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. And 4 spiritual orders are Brahmacharya, Grahasth, Vanprasth and Sannyas. One should follow complete celibacy throughout his life. But you know what? In this material world, there is an attachment between men and women. Men gets attracted towards women and women get attracted towards men. We can also see the novels, serials, cinemas, dramas, all of these are based on these attachment between men and women. Although we should try to reduce it to nil, this attachment, but if some are unable to do so, so these principles are made so that after following these principles, they can attain the real goal of life. Now comes the third chapter, the real goal of life. What is the real goal of life? The real goal of life is to go back home, back to Godhead. Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, Dukhalayam ashashvatam. This material world is full of miseries. No happiness can be found here. And how to get rid of this material world is by perfect knowledge. Krishna conscious philosophy is perfect. So congratulations, you are in the right parampara. So the first point is about soul. Soul is changing its bodies just like we change our clothes every day. When the body doesn't support the soul leaves it and transmigrates into another body. Second point is yogic process for this Kali Yuga. Yogic process is so simple for this Kali Yuga. Is just by chanting the holy name, we can go back home, back to Godhead. We can attain the real goal of life just by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Different yugas has different yogic processes, but for especially this Kali Yuga, the yogic process is chanting the holy name of the Lord. Third point is how to please the Lord. How Krishna can be pleased? Just by following the spiritual master's instructions. Krishna can be pleased. How? Krishna can be pleased so simply because the instructions of Krishna and instructions given by our spiritual master are non-different, they are same. For example, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, surrender to me, and our spiritual master says surrender to Krishna. So these statements are same. So we should follow the instructions of our spiritual master and we can please Krishna through this. Next point is Krishna, although sitting in everyone's heart, but because for developing a relationship between us and Krishna, we should pray. We should pray to Krishna. I know it was a long video, but thank you so much for your patience. And this is it. These are the 3 chapters of Perfect Question and Perfect Answers. We will meet next Saturday with another 3 chapters. And until then, Hare Krishna.